What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos, hit that like button. Y'all coming here to share, subscribe as well. Let's get it popping. All right, y'all. So check it out. I'm a little bit under the weather right now, and before I start this video, I just want to let y'all know that sometimes, some days, I'm not all up for doing a live or doing a video or doing whatever. I understand it's not as many lives as we were doing last season, but we will be getting back to that. For me, going to the games and having to recap and watch the games over again, you guys got to understand that it's a lot of time put in this, right? I definitely appreciate y'all being with me for the last 3 seasons, because I ain't nothing without y'all. But, you know, people asking, why is BJ not doing a live? Why he's not doing this? You guys need to really see what a day in life is with me. I get to the game 3 hours, 4 hours before the game starts. I got to go through check-in. I got to go through scheduling. I got to go through all that stuff. Mind you, I get home late as hell, sometimes even close to 11 o'clock. I have to recap and watch the game, if not that night, early in the morning, because when you're at the game, it's a little bit different from when you are actually watching it in time, again. So I do everything I can in my power to make sure you get the coverage right away. It might not be right away like in the morning. Sometimes it might be in the afternoon, but as y'all know, I pride myself on trying to get the best quality content as possible. So I'm not going to put something out there just to try to say, oh, I finished at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not dropping a video that's half-assed. So you guys, hopefully that puts things in perspective of sometimes I might not be up to doing a live, especially if I'm feeling under the weather. But, other than that, man, let's talk about it. Y'all see the red fire truck in the back, so, probably kind of keep that out. Had to get some air, you know what I'm saying? So you guys bear with me, got some vitamin water. The Clippers, 92-103 last night, win against the Orlando Magic. And they moved to 9-7. I believe either the 9th or 8th seed right now. 9th seed, I think we're the 9th seed in the West, if I'm not mistaken. We got another good game on Friday tomorrow against Sacramento Kings, who are right there beside us as well, who we beat earlier in the season. Great game from Ivica Zubac, who I think was the best player on the court. He had 17 points. I think he had 12 rebounds as well. Fishing from the field, I think he was like 8 for 11. Shot the ball well, played presumably well on the defensive end. And then you look at guys like James Harden, who had 24 points. And as I mentioned earlier a few weeks ago, I think a week ago, I think I said, I've stopped looking at really the field goal percentage, even though his field goal percentage shooting is still low and still this, that, and the other. He has been lowering the turnovers, which is good. I've just learned to accept that because of the offense that he has put on him, something's going to have to give, whether it's the efficiency, whether it's the turnovers, whatever it is, something's going to have to give when it comes to James Harden. So, whatever. Norman Powell being out last night actually was a big key for them actually offensively, having to, find other players to score the basketball. And the player that I said, before the season started that needed to get more recognition was Amir Coffey. He had 18 points last night, 6 for 10 from the field, hit some big threes in the corner. Amir Coffey is the best two-way player on our team right now, because he can play any lineup. He can play in a fast lineup. He can play in a young lineup. He can play in a slow-paced lineup. He can play in a mature lineup. He's played in the playoffs when we didn't have, Kawhi last year, or, the year when we didn't have Kawhi or PG in 2022. He's been on this team. He got drafted here. People got to remember, Amir Coffey, just like Terrence Mann, just like Ivica Zubac, was drafted to the Clippers. They weren't. Well, Ivica Zubac wasn't drafted here, but he's been here for quite some time. Amir Coffey's been here for a while. So people just don't really know too much about him because he doesn't get the opportunity to play. But over the last couple of seasons, people have been kind of seeing what Amir Coffey is about. He's a two-way player. He's a lefty. He can score the rock. He can put the ball on the floor. You can tell he's been working on his game in the offseason as well. And I hope that this stint of him playing and being consistent and being on the court makes him a part of the rotation permanently. There shouldn't be no questions about Amir Coffey not playing, up so minutes. I think, like I said, I think he should be playing somewhere between 20 25 minutes a game. You can find minutes to put him at the 2, the 3, or the 4. So two-way players always should be on the court, but that's pretty much beside that. Like I said, Amir Coffey, good game from him. Good game from Kevin Porter Jr. too. KPJ is finally starting to get ahead of schedule. He's starting to, get accustomed to He's starting to be more and more comfortable in the backup point guard role. Now, I'll say this. There are certain games he's not really getting much opportunity, or he's looking, presumably bad. So we only 14, 15 games in the season, so I don't really like to look at it more so, it's a finished product, but I do like the progression he's playing with, the confidence and the swagger he's playing with. Mistakes are going to happen, turnovers are going to happen, but you don't want a person lose their confidence. That's the worst thing you can do, is have a person lose their confidence. If they start losing their confidence, then that's a person that you really can't use on the court. You can turn the rock over, you can miss a shot. As long as you get back on defense and you try to get the ball back, you can make mistakes. Like I seen KPJ do that last night against Orlando. I think he was a turnover. He turned the ball over. He got the ball right back, or he tipped the ball right back. It was at the end of the third quarter. So, KPJ is putting a lot of effort in. Orlando's a good defensive team. They're a very good defensive team, if not, not to mention, but they're a bad offensive team. They're ranked number 25 in offensive rating this year. Very young, very talented. A team in the East that's going to be reckoned with. So, that was a good win. That was a real good win. I think they're both 9-7. That was a good win for both teams, because both teams are dealing with injuries. Of course, we're dealing without Kawhi Leonard, and then we didn't have Norman Powell last night. They're dealing with Paolo Banchero, who's averaging 28 points per game for them. That's the leader in scorer. So it was a pretty even matchup between the two teams. So I think us winning that game last night and us, prevailing in that third quarter, where third quarters we pretty much struggled, especially at the beginning of the season. We found ways to come in that second half and be productive and stretch that lead up to, I think, 19 points. So I like the attention to detail. I like the defensive tenacity. I like the defensive principles that we played with last night. I just like the overall effort. Decision making bad, 25 turnovers. But then again, that's against a top defensive rated team. I don't expect that to happen to a team like Sacramento, who's good offensively but not a great defensive team. So Friday's a play-in game tomorrow. It's an in-season tournament game against Sacramento, so they're gonna want revenge on us based off us beating them in their house about a couple weeks ago. De'Aaron Fox is on a tear right now. I think he had like 2 back-to-back 60-point games, and or 50-point games. So at the same token, it's something. And shout out to Skills for saying this on our last panel on Saturday. It's going to be peaks and valleys. It's going to be peaks and valleys, and it's going to be peaks and valleys. It's going to be peaks and valleys because, number one, we don't have our best player back on the court yet, and we don't have the stability. Everything revolves around Kawhi, and until he gets back on the court, you're going to be seeing stuff like this. And even when he gets back on the court, it's going to take him some time to get accustomed back into rhythm. But I think the one thing the Clippers have done a good job of doing is putting their emphasis. They have an identity on defense where they're always going to be in games. They're going to always make sure it's going to be competitive. The question was going to be how many games can they finish? Can they finish those games that they're always close in? The game against Golden State the other night was a big win. We have Golden State's number. The game against, who did we play against? Utah. Not a good team, but we stay able to win that game and prevail off of that team. We're trying to find ways and scratch and claw, so you can't really fault. They're playing as good as you can ask them to play right now. they're actually exceeding expectations right now because you got your two best offensive players, your two best scorers are not playing last night, and they were finding other people to get hot. Derrick Jones Jr. also has been good from the three-point line with that corner three-point shot. Him and James Harden has that chemistry going, that James Harden has the ball at the top of the key. He's kicking the ball out to Derrick Jones Jr. for those open three-point shots. And what I've spent talking about before the season started was to play in that offense, the Harden system, you're going to have to be able to catch and shoot three-point shots. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you can't do that, you cannot be in that offense. You got to be able to catch and shoot, or catch lobs, or be able to, quote-unquote, pick and roll to the basket if you're a big. And if you take away any of those options, then it makes the defense, you're at the kind of the health at the defense. But D. Jones has been shooting the ball incredibly, improving from what he was shooting the ball in previous past. I like what I saw. I like what I saw outside the turnovers yesterday. And I like that we're getting deep into the bench. Jordan Miller got burned yesterday. I want to say he had 6 points. 6 points yesterday, so he's only going to get more and more confident. Jordan Miller has spent 5 seasons in college. Shout out to my boy Law Murray yesterday for the interview. He spent 5 seasons in college, so he's 23. I think, what is he, 23 or 24 years old? He's not a rookie, or he's not a player that's just hasn't really had no experience. Like, he has experience. That's why he plays such a mature way. He doesn't really turn the ball over. He has, he maintains the basketball. He takes good quality shots because he's been in a system for 5 years in college, and he spent time into the G League. So he's very, very seasoned, believe it or not. So I'm glad he got his minutes on the court. It's just so many different things that we got to, watch out for the rest of the season, man, because, especially going into this next month, it's going to be more of a tougher stretch, tougher schedule. We got Sacramento coming up. We got Philly coming up Sunday. And then we got Boston. We got Washington. And we got Minnesota to finish off that road trip. We haven't spent too much time on the road yet. We spent the last few games. We've been good at home. Better at home than we've been on the road lately. But I think this road trip's going to show us a lot about, the makeup of the team. Because just like how we had 3-game winning streak just a couple weeks ago, we turned around and have a 3-game losing streak against OKC and against Houston back-to-back times. And, people came in and said, well, we're looking like not even a solid team. So, again, it's going to be peaks and valleys. Right now, we're on a 3-game winning streak. We got Sacramento coming up. So we're going to have to try to, find ways to continuously claw and win games. We're in a good spot right now because we're above 500. Until we can keep this momentum going until Kawhi gets back, we're in good spirits. We're in good space. But I like what we're doing right now. Again, I'm sorry for y'all for the live. I'll probably be doing another live. Let me see. I'll probably be doing a live on Saturday. Saturday morning, I'll probably be doing a live after the Sacramento game. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, bro, I'm out of it. Got home late last night. Feeling a little bit under the weather. So we'll be getting back on the lives on Saturday, and I'll make sure to make it up for y'all for, the rest of the day. So until next time, pull up C, pull up check, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swim. Wow.